So the story of Britelives started in 2015 when my mother, who was 88, rang me to say she wanted a hairdresser and she needed a new gardener. The gardener was 77 and retired. Well, I thought that wasn't going to be much of an issue. I would just go on Google, find this person, and I'd be back home. I lived 3 hours away. What I discovered was, actually, it was more complicated than that. I couldn't find any reviews or recommendations. I couldn't find a gardener. I couldn't find a hairdresser that would come to her home. But actually, I realized it was even more complicated than that. My mother was becoming increasingly lonely. And that loneliness was something to do with all of the services that she used to get to when she could get out of the house. And I realized that being stuck at home was making her very lonely. Now, we believe two things at Britelives. One, that no person should be lonely, ever be lonely. And the second thing is that there is a huge market opportunity in addressing loneliness in older people. There are 1 million people over the age of 65 in London. Half of them have difficulty getting out of their house on a daily basis. 36% of them describe themselves as chronically lonely. And being that lonely shortens your life. It shortens your life just in the same way that smoking 15 cigarettes a day shortens your life. I realized in May of this year that I was going to have to do something about this. So what we've essentially done is we've created a directory of services actually in Ealing. I am possibly the only person on the planet that knows every lunch club in Ealing. Well, I know there are 2 other people in the team that know that. I know what people are looking for in these lunch clubs, and it's not just where, when, and how. They're actually interested in a knowledge base of local services. In fact, providers are interested in knowing what other services are available. Older people want to know, what's it like to go there? And when you look at the Britelives website at www.britelives.com, you'll see that there's quite a lot more information. There are reviews and recommendations. Current directories don't do that. In fact, the common feature of current directories are, most of them are out of date. And as a result of them being out of date, professionals in health and social care won't use them to recommend services for people who are older. And that's a problem, because if you can't find these services to address loneliness, the only other thing is the other thing that you've got in your bag, which is probably a pharmaceutical. So how complicated can this be? Actually, all we ask is that you, your carer or family member, tells us something about what you like and what you don't like and what you're capable of. We'll then curate a list of services for you, personal and unique to you. You don't need to know all the services are available. You just need to know that this is the list that we think suits you. You'll then need to book and pay for those services, either you or a family member or a carer. And then the most important thing, you're encouraged to review and recommend, because that's the thing that keeps the whole cycle of quality and referral going, which is how we can curate the services in the first place. So who's the team that's going to deliver this? Well, I'm John Coultard. I have a Gates Award for work in health and life sciences. I've been a digital commissioner in NHS England. I've commissioned some of the very largest of digital platforms that we use in England, like NHS Choices. And the CTO, Arif Gavani, who's got 17+ years experience in Microsoft, has also delivered some of those things like B-Central, Office 365, and was responsible for some of NHS Choices. Third member is Gemma Sinia, who is our community manager. She has experience in working in dementia care and these community services in Leeds. So what next for us? Well, we need connection with London leadership. If you know anybody that can help us in social or healthcare, community, charity provision, we're really interested in talking to them, because we think there is a bit of a mismatch in what people think is going on out there and the reality of what's going on out there. We could do with raising enough money to cover our MVP, particularly the smart technology we need to develop around the curation. And finally, we've realized the really important element of this, which is helping people understand, older people particularly, understand the advantage of these services and the change that it can make in their life. So we're looking for somebody to help us make a really human-centered video. We're Britelives, we're just over here, come and talk to us. Thank you very much.